Hi everyone, welcome again to my channel. This is Ravina and I'm here present again for you to talk about one more lesson, something new, something creative that we have to deal with our kids for. So, today our topic will be English for grade KG2 or you can say grade 1s, and it will be a story time. How do we prepare ourselves to talk about the story or make them speak on the story, make them explain the story in their own words? But the four most important components of our English are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Now, the challenge that the teachers face is how to elaborate all four of them in their lessons. We will talk about all of them with a story and your tone, the tone of your voice, what it should be like while you tell a story to a kid. A small child cannot ever stay or sit for more than 2 minutes if the story is not at all comprising of all the essential elements as well as the tone of the teacher. If the teacher or the parent is willing to tell the story in a different comic way, the child will surely love it. But as we all get bored because we always know the story, what the story is, so our children don't pay attention. What is it about? Okay, mom is not considering much. Why should I pay importance? So I am going to focus today on how to deliver a lesson for story with all the four components in it, which are listening, speaking, reading, as well as writing. All four components in one chapter with the learning objective, methodology, plenary, and this time we'll be having small little assessments throughout our story to keep in mind that the child has been there on his alert zone or not. So, without wasting any time, we shall get started. Hope you will enjoy. Now, I'm going to explain how to tell a story to a child. So, the name of the story is No Roses for Harry, and which is written by Jean Zion, pictures by Margaret Bloy Graham. Many of you might have heard about this story, and many of you might haven't. So, considering a child's mind, the thinking process, child might have not listened to the story. So, the first thing that we are going to ask to the child is, what can you see on your screen? What do you think is the story about? Whom can you see? Do you have a pet at home? If not, do you want to have a pet at home? What do you think should be its color? Should it be brown? Should it be white? Should it be black? What about the dress? Do you like your dog wearing a cute dress, or do you imagine your dog without a dress? And as the title of the story says, No Roses for Harry, what does it mean? Is Harry going to take a rose and give it to a pretty dog, pretty dog, or is it going to propose to her? Or they'll be friends? What do you think it is going to be? So, without wasting our time, let's go on further to our learning objective. And we have to make sure that the children answer all of these questions. Now comes the learning objective that our children should know by the end of the lesson what they are going to learn today. The learning objective is listen to the story and retell it in correct sequence. So they are going to listen to the story, they are at the same time going to retell the sequence, they'll be speaking, and we also have a cute task for them at the end, which will ensure that they are even going to write in that. All right, we are going to motivate the kids to read the story But at the same time, as soon as the child finish reading one slide, we as teachers or parents should be repeating the same in a way that the child builds his attention throughout. Let's start with the story now. Harry was a white dog with black spots. On his birthday, he got a present from Grandma. It was a woolen sweater with roses on it. Harry didn't like it the moment he saw it. He did not like the roses. Now, here the child is going to build up his thinking and he'll become excited that my grandma, what are the things your grandma makes for you or sends for you? So the thinking process starts. There are two children, there is a pet. The child, whatever they see, they think it with themselves, with their own body. That is the first thing a child does. So, lots of questions are coming up for the children. So, make sure that they are totally engrossed and involved in the lesson. Here comes the thinking time questions. What was the name of the story? Who gave the gift to Harry? And what was in the gift box? These are the questions. After the child answers, we are going to go further. When he tried it on, he felt cozy and snug. But he still didn't like the roses. He thought it was the silliest sweater he'd ever seen. At this point of time, we can ask our children whether there is any sweater or any kind of cloth that they have been gifted by someone from their family member and they don't like it. Maybe it might be some shoes, it might be some cap, it might be some sweater or anything else that they don't like. And we can also ask them to tell what they like. Their likes and dislikes can be easily developed. And even after not liking the roses so much, Harry tried it on. He felt cozy and snug, but he was not happy to wear it anyway. Now comes again the question, why did Harry not like the gift given by Grandma? What do you do if you do not like a gift? The next day, when Harry went into town with the children, he wore his new sweater. When people saw it, they laughed. When dogs saw it, they barked. Harry made up his mind then and there to lose Grandma's present. Now Harry wanted to lose the present because he thought that everybody was laughing at him. Now comes the thinking time questions. Why did Harry want to lose Grandma's gift? When people saw Harry, what did they do? How would you feel if your friend did not like the gift you gave? We have to make sure while telling a story, we don't have to run. We have to read each sentence very cautiously, and we have to make sure, as parents as well as teachers, that child is totally into it by raising a lot of questions from the children so that the base of the story is clear to them before we go further. So these are the small assessments that we take in between, the mid assessments, the mid plenaries, so that the children think and they are totally into the story. When they went into a big store shop, the children took off his sweater and let him carry it. This was just what Harry wanted. Now, the children took off the sweater in a big store shop. Why do you think they did that? Was it correct? Do you pull off your sweater in the store? What might be the reason? These are the questions we can ask from the children. First, he tried to lose it in the pet department. My God. The first thing did was he tried to lose it in the bed department because it was in his hand. It was in his mouth, not in his hand. Sorry. So he wanted to lose it in the pet department. What is the pet department? I hope you all know what is the pet department. Okay, but a man found it and gave it back. Now the children thought by mistake Harry had forgotten his sweater. So the children, they are so worried that the sweater is given from grandma, and if we might have lost it, how would grandma feel? Then he tried to lose it in the grocery department. The second time that Harry did not want that sweater was he tried to lose it in the grocery department. And there the child is shouting in the trolley, sitting in the trolley and shouting, "Look, look, look! Harry forgot his sweater. That doggy forgot his sweater, Mama." Let's see what happens next. But a lady found it and gave it back. The child is so happy to return the sweater because even the child is thinking that by mistake the doggy forgot. Again, the children are looking to lose it in the grocery department. The second time that Harry did not want that sweater was he tried to lose it in the grocery department. And there the child is shouting in the trolley, sitting in the trolley and shouting, "Look, look, look! Harry forgot his sweater. That doggy forgot his sweater, Mama." Let's see what happens next. But a lady found it and gave it back. The child is so happy to return the sweater because even the child is thinking that by mistake the doggy forgot. Again, the children are looking worried that one more time the sweater got lost. There is something going on there. Now comes the thinking time question again. Who found Harry's sweater in the grocery department? Next comes, he tried to lose it in the flower department. Now, here we are going to ask from the children the three main important points. Which all places did Harry try to lose the sweater? What was the first one? Which was the second one? And finally, where did he try to lose it the third time? So the children will be engrossed again in the story and they will make sure that they know all the three places. But in the flower department, a little boy found it and again gave it back. Now you can see the look at the children's faces. What do you think they're thinking right now? They are really, really very, very angry. But why? Why are they angry this time? Because they figured it out that the sweater is not lost by mistake. It is done by Harry and intentionally he wanted to lose it. Why did Harry try to lose the sweater in the grocery store? Now comes the grocery store question. The first time he lost it in the pet department. The second time he lost it in the grocery store. And third time he lost it in the flower department. So all the three departments he tried to lose it. And now here the children will give the reason that why was it happening and why did he try to lose it. Of course he didn't like the roses. The children didn't let Harry carry it anymore. They made him wear it as they started home. Harry was beginning to think he'd never lose it. Again, the thinking time question. What happened when the children made Harry wear the sweater again? When he got home, his friends were waiting to play with him. But Harry didn't feel like playing, so they left it alone. Why do you think he's not happy? Why do you think he's not playing? Why do you think he doesn't want to see anyone? He is in no mood to play with his friends. What is the reason? As he sat wondering what to do, Harry noticed a loose stitch in his sweater. He pulled at the wool just a little at first, then a bit more and a little bit more. Harry didn't know it, but a bird was watching. What was the bird watching? Okay, in a minute, Harry had pulled out quite a long piece of wool. The end of it lay on the grass behind him. Suddenly, the bird flew down while Harry was busy taking off his sweater with the long piece of wool. He's so happy because he's getting rid of it. What did Harry do to get rid of the sweater? Quick as a flash, she took the end of the wool in her beak and flew away with it. It all happened before Harry could even blink. The sweater began to disappear right before Harry's eyes. First, one leg, then the neck, then the other leg, then the back, and finally, the whole thing was just one long, long piece of wool flying off into the sky. The sweater was gone. Harry could hardly believe it. He barked and jumped with joy. And then he ran out of the garden. What happened when the bird started to pull the string? Why did Harry bark and jump with happiness? He ran down the street barking, "Thank you" to the bird over and over again. He's after the bird because the bird unknowingly took the wool. The sweater is gone, and Harry is so happy. The bird and the wool were just a tiny speck in the sky, but Harry kept following them. What is the meaning of speck? Harry came home thirsty and tired and was having a drink in the kitchen when the children ran in. "We've got a letter from Grandma," said one. "She's coming to visit us," shouted the other. Harry thought of the sweater and his tail dropped. Now the grandma is about to come, but there is no sweater. And if she's going to ask, what will Harry say? Where did the sweater go? Before grandma came, the family looked everywhere for the sweater. See how everywhere they're searching? They wanted her to see how nice Harry looked in it. Of course, they didn't find it. Only Harry knew why. Thinking time. Why did the family search for the sweater before grandma arrived? When grandma arrived, Harry ran to her with his leash. Then he sat up and begged. "All right, Harry," said grandma. "After I've had my lunch and a nap, we'll go for a walk." That afternoon, Harry and grandma and the children started off on their walk. Harry barked happily and pulled towards the park. He wanted to go to the park. He was so excited to go. When they got to the park, Harry pulled harder. The children let him off his leash and he ran on ahead. He seemed to be looking for something. All at once, he stopped under a big tree. He looked up and began to bark and wag his tail. Grandma and the children came running. What do you think Harry saw? What did he see? What was there on the tree? He saw and came running to see what? Why did Harry stop under a big tree? They got to the tree and looked up too. Suddenly, one of the children said, "I see a nest. It is made of wool," said the other. "And it's the very same color as Harry's sweater." They shouted together. "It is Harry's sweater!" exclaimed Grandma. Just then a bird looked out of the nest. "Look, Grandma, look!" shouted the children. "Harry gave his sweater to a bird." "I wonder how he did that," said Grandma. The bird sang and Harry wagged. Here comes Christmas. Harry got a present from Grandma. It was a new sweater. Harry liked this one very much. When he tried it on, he felt as cozy and snug as the bird in the nest. But best of all, it was white with black spots. Now, what was the gift did Harry get for Christmas? Now comes the critical thinking questions that are very important to ask whenever we are engaging the children in a story or any other lesson of any subject. The first question that we are going to ask them: mention the times that you have received gifts in your lives. Why are gifts given? What is the reason? Why do we give gifts? How do you feel when you give a gift? How can you show that you are grateful to a person who has given you a gift? So, these are some important things we need to ask from the child so that they can relate themselves with the story. Now, finally, comes the task, the writing part. After completing the listening, reading, and speaking section, here comes the writing part in which the children are to be given an A4 sheet paper. They are going to draw the story No Roses for Harry in their notebook or A4 sheet paper. And they are going to draw what happened in the beginning, what happened in the middle of the story, and what was the end. That is how we prepare and read a story to the children. Hope you all enjoyed today's story session. There are many more stories, many more topics, many more objectives to cover, and we have to make sure that we are working together for our kids. This is how we deliver a lesson while a story time is given to anyone for a child, and engaging part is the must one. If you like, please, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I'll be very thankful. And more videos are on the way. Please give suggestions on what do you like and what do you want, which topic you want me to cover. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great day ahead. See you all.